Alrighty, hey guys, it is Gauntlet, and I have been gone for like forever. So yeah, sorry about that. No real excuses, just been having fun playing games. So today I've been getting back into Galactic Civ this past week. Been playing a lot of Fallout, been doing a lot of work, and oh, also I've been trying out Star Citizen, so I might make a video about that at some point too. But there's so many videos about that, really don't need me talking about it. But yeah, so a lot of stuff going on there. Anywho, with Galactic Civ, this video is just going to focus on what I'm doing there. I am slowly continuing work on it. For example, in your next update, I am hoping to finally be done replacing all of the mercenaries. As you can see here, whenever you load up, there's like four, maybe five that are not done yet. I've done another four or five. So I gotta get to it. It just takes time. I have more interest in making ship sets, so sometimes these get a little waning. That being said, some of my best work is definitely the mercenaries. And there are some bugs here and there that I gotta clean up. But for example, like this one right here, the Black Hand Raiders, if you haven't seen this ship or bought it or anything, like it's probably one of my best pieces of work. It's down there on the bottom left. I know it's small, but for an asymmetrical pirate design, I'm very happy with it. At some point, I should probably make a pirate faction that's not like my Turin Raiders, who are very corporate, but more actually just vicious, hateful, angry raider pirates. Yar. So yeah. Anyways, then you have like this is a new mercenary I made right here, which almost became its own ship design. But then I was like, ship set. I mean, but it wasn't quite unique enough, I think. So I don't know. We'll see. Um, the race I wanted to use it for just didn't really suit that style, so I tried again. And I go by race, not ships, first and foremost. I try to make the races. All right, so more mercenaries, duh. As always, clean up a few bugs wherever I find them. And then I'm working on a new ship set. So let's go into the designer and yeah. So oh, you know what? Let me first show you their picture. You'll probably recognize them. Oh, look there, top right, the Vanguard. The Vanguard are a race. They're one of my original like 8 races I imagined, and yeah, I'm definitely ripping off Mass Effect for their picture because they're awesome. I love how the Geth look, but the storyline for these guys are a little bit different. Um, and for those of you who play the mod a lot, the Quantum Siberiat was kind of a fun twist on what the Vanguard are. So arguably, I could have taken the Quantum Siberiat and changed them into the Vanguard and gotten rid of that race, but I decided not to and just make new ships. Any rate, they are definitely a machine race. Um, that being said, it's not clear if there's any organic component or if they're totally artificial because they're very secretive. They're not insane like the Quantum Siberia is, but they actually just kind of appeared out of nowhere on a planet that is now called Cathedral, and it's like some random nondescript volcanic planet. They showed up, and basically over the past 20 years they've been building up. They had a brief war with the Fulgar and the Aquilarans because those two guys were nearby. The Vanguard were expanding a little bit to acquire resources, and basically the Aquilarans were like, machines you say? I'd love to pick them apart and see what makes them tick. Let me blow them up and try and do that. And the Fulgar, being just kind of motivated by greed, went along with it when they were asked and paid to. It totally backfired. The Vanguard were able to absolutely tromp anybody trying to attack them. Um, yeah, so that happened about 15 cycles ago in my current timeline or so. And but interestingly enough, the Vanguard didn't really push the advantage. They don't seem to want to eliminate organic life. They're not that type of AI race, um, and their motivations are still completely really secret. Though with a name like the Vanguard and the fact that they just appeared one day on a random planet, And I should note, a planet that's been surveyed before. It's not like the last race I made, the Cochise, where they simply were underground and from, a previous epoch and in stasis and now have suddenly woken up. Nope, this was a scanned planet, just random whatever, and they just showed up. And as far as anyone can tell, no idea from where. So they might be extra dimensional, they might be extra galactic. You don't really know, which is kind of fun because you can make up your own backstory for them. But they're surprisingly diplomatic for an AI race. They've got seemingly nothing against organics, and they don't really want to push a big war. Now that might just be logical because pushing on organic life and being machines, there's probably some I guess that's racist or, you know, artificialist, I suppose. You don't really want to end up turning the whole galaxy against you and oh, murder the machines. So that kind of makes sense. Either way, you want to play them evil, good, neutral, whatever. So they're kind of a blank canvas in terms of their motivations that you get to use them as. All right. Now they are inspired by the Geth, so you're gonna see some of those elements, I think, in these ships, hopefully. So first up, let's actually just take a look at their turret. I wanted to do a spinning barrel turret. I haven't really done that yet, so here's my first attempt at doing so. I've done lots of turrets like these, where you have two guns moving in and out, which is cool. That's their beam turret. This is their kinetic turret. And then their missile turret. As you can see, I'm having fun with some of the newer part sets. Really like these pieces. They are cool with their little targeting reticle and their bright glowy bits. So that all came out pretty well. I'm pretty happy with the turrets. Then I have their scout. Now the scout introduces the first common elements. First of all, the whole hull is basically what I use for engines throughout the set. Then you have this interesting sort of stalk piece with an eyepiece and the um, tendril-like antennas, a little bit of an organic theme there. And then you also have this interesting sensor system down here with the two square sort of protrusions. I think that's a word. And then, of course, the most unique thing is the thing right ahead of you. This weird spinning green, whatever you want to call it. Now, it's actually two orbs spinning counter to each other. So you get this interesting sort of squareness, right? You can see the tiny little squares as they intersect each other. And that made me think really like digital for some reason, kind of like matrixy art. So pretty happy with how that came out. So that's their sensor node. You're going to see that on Explorer ships, Survey ships, and the Scouts, but really nothing else. Whereas every other ship, you will see these two different types of antenna things somewhere, with a few exceptions. All right, here is their kinetic fighter. Now, originally, I was thinking all of their ships would not necessarily need like physical crew, but I've kind of decided against that. So, because I've done that a lot, I've did that with the Quantum Siberia, where their ship really looks like it's not a ship, it's more of an insect and alive and doesn't really necessarily have anyone inside running around if everything's automated. I've decided to go against that. These definitely have interiors, they definitely have crew. Each Vanguard unit is a certain individual. Um, so these have actual cockpits, um, which required a little bit of rework, but overall I'm pretty happy with this model. Um, it's kind of simplistic profile, but I like that, and I definitely plan on. I'm glad it's simple because I plan on making the carriers have a lot of these models hanging off of them. Um, you know, I did, I think the biggest carrier I ever made had like 24 fighters hanging off of it, but they were very animation heavy fighters. They had little legs and little turrets and moving eye stuff. So it really taxed systems. And I had to dumb that down. So this being a very simple model, it's one solid piece, will hopefully allow me to put maybe 20 to 40 on a single carrier, which I think would be kind of cool. The beam variant is extremely similar. It's the exact same model, except it's got their beam cannon thingy at the bottom. I was lazy, no surprise there, as you guys know. I often make one model and then just variants with turrets. It helps me mass produce shit, and I only have so much passion. I really do. If you want all the variants, play Terrans. You'll get as many variants as you could hope for. All right, so the kinetic is actually sorry, the small hulls is actually my favorite hull I've done for the series so far. Um, Kind of because I reversed and put the sensor thing at the top instead of the bottom. It still has a cockpit thing, and it's got this interesting flatness to it in the front, but still kind of round, and these interesting tubes coming out in the front. I really just overall like the look. We've got two of the eyeball sensor nodes with the whiskers, if you will. So I'm still trying to think how I'm going to name these ships. I kind of want to do a fish theme, but they're not aquatic, they're robots, so I don't know. We'll see. So this one has 4 kinetic turrets, of course, and it also has 3 engines, all vertically aligned. And yeah, I just really like it. It's also the first ship where you really see these fanning out sort of fins coming out at the back, I think, whereas the other ones kind of covered the whole ship. Now it's fins, and you get this plate armor. There's some elements that are similar because I'm using a lot of the same parts as the colonies of Zrentak. Really trying not to repeat myself too much, though, so hopefully you guys think this is a unique enough ship. Um, but if you didn't, you'll definitely see some interesting stuff going on with the mediums here. Anyways, this is the beam variant, and you get the drill. Here's your missile variant. Though it's not very unique, obviously, I do like the Explorer variant. I had this idea of, well, let's just repeat these in like big fin arrangements. So really like the spininess going on here, which is probably not a word. Anywho, yep, probably my favorite ship of the set so far. So we'll see how it goes. Then we have the mediums. There's more variety in the mediums. Um, I saved the variety work for medium and above because, frankly, how often do you really need to build small ships? It's not a valid strategy in the game right now to build a big amount of small ships and use those, I would say. You're much better off just pretty much skipping small hulls and going straight to mediums. So I put work where I think people are really going to see the ships and enjoy. Let's make sure. Here we go. Here is the survey. This was actually the first ship I designed in the set to kind of set a theme. Now it does have some weapons, but it's also got scanners, and yeah, I wanted... This took a while to figure out what I was going to do. Um, but overall, I'm really happy with the unorthodox shape. I didn't want ships that were just straight and flat profiles. So these have a lot of curve to them, but they are generally long-shaped ships. So you can see I have 5 engines in the back with our telltale shell fin sort of surrounding it. We have 2 winglets coming off the back with some sensors. Then in the middle of the hull, we have some of those green spinny digi sensors I mentioned earlier, digital sensors, I guess. I don't know. And then we've got the long sloping hull coming forward with a beam array in front and some more scanners. So overall, this set the tone for the medium hulls, but there's definitely some variety going on. And yeah, pretty happy with how this came out. All right, so moving on to the most similar next ship, which is the medium. Really didn't change much. We fleshed out the front of the head a little bit with some more armor. We added some beam turrets here and there, but not too many because it's just got large fixed beam arrays on the sides and the front. So I didn't want to overdo it with turrets. You'll notice with my Terran sets, I use probably more turrets than any other ship set. That's kind of a mistake. It's probably just too many. So anyways, sometimes I try to cut that out. I am slowly trying to maybe see if I can standardize turret count or weapon counts on different size ships throughout all the sets, but that'll realistically it'll never happen. All right, the defense model really just adds a variety of weapons, bigger shell plates here and there, moves the sensors to the undersides, and really just has a beam turret, a couple of fixed beam front, and some kinetic turrets. But it is one of the first ships where you'll see what I'm using as a command deck, which really looks like just a giant Geth head and eyepiece there. You'll see that throughout the set used. So, pretty similar. All right, then we get to the kinetic. The kinetic definitely shakes things up a little bit. First of all, it's all turrets. Quite a few of them, actually. 10? Yeah, 10 of them. Yeah, see that standardization thing? Bullshit, I'm never doing that. Anywho, you have this front arc thing that's almost like a prow or blade or something. It's just interesting, and you have the raised command section further along. And so, yeah, I just thought it was a neat sort of profile. Um, Not quite organic looking enough to say like, oh, it's animalistic, and not quite mechanical enough to be stereotypical. So pretty happy with how this is coming out. All right, then we have the missile ships. As you guys know, I usually make my missile ships fat and slow, and this is no difference. It's big, it's wide, it's got a shorter head profile, if you will, with more sensors for long-range detection and targeting, and kind of turtley looking. Um, yeah, very happy with it. And let's see, balanced. Balanced is kind of a mixture of everything going on here. You get more of these sort of tube things from like the small hull, as well as this piece from the small hull. I'm probably going to incorporate more of those elements into these ships as I go. All right, so there you go. So I'm not dead. I am working on a new ship set. I don't know when it will be released. Galactic Civ's next big update, standalone, which was rumored to be a standalone, but now they've said maybe not going to be a standalone, is supposedly going to have ship set editors and allow you to upload whole ship sets to Steam. Thank goodness, because gosh, I am really tired of modding all of this crap by hand, and some of you have complained about the fact that, oh, every time they update, they break your mod. Yeah, I'm really sorry they break my mod with every update, and hope you appreciate that I tend to get the mod fixed within 48 hours. But, some of you don't, and hey, fuck you. Anyways, looking forward to the next update so that all of this is easier and you can actually just download sets off Steam, which is how it should have been at the beginning. But, oh well. And just as another side note, another update I'm doing is I am slowly redoing all of the custom parts you get, the turrets, the fighters, the little sensor things, with a different naming system. I finally figured out how I could do that. You can't just rename a custom part, which is sad. So last update gave you renamed Terran parts, as well as a lot of new Terran parts. Now I'm slowly going through and getting them all done, so you can see quite a few of them have been done. I'm probably halfway through though. JJ through, whatever's left. All these. Part of that will help simply because, they introduced a new part set into the custom part menu for no good possible reason. Um, you know, Everything else gets its own category, but whatever. And so let me show you how to make how to rename a custom part. Little tutorial at the end here. So let's start with a new hull. And what you do is you want to take a regular part. I like to use something plain, like a square. I'm going to move that off a little bit so we don't accidentally put something on the invisible square, because the invisible square is not going to help you. All right, take a part. Let's see, maybe I should actually do a real part for realsies. All right, we have some sort of large spinning array from the June Jalar. Put that right on top of my square. Click your square, hit Control on your keyboard, and click the custom component. Then group the selected parts together. Now, take your newly grouped part, which includes a grouped part, ungroup it. Now, you still down here in the menu have two pieces, but you'll notice when I select the original group part, it doesn't select the part at all really, and I can now individually select parts. So now what you can do is grab the parts manually on the screen, which is really agonizing, and if you make any mistakes, it fucks up. As you can see here, this part is not technically connected to this part, but there's no way you can tell other than trial and error. So yeah, that causes a problem. So you have to connect this to this. Nope. There's probably some part that I'm not seeing that's inside there, because I never thought it'd be this asinine. So the whole thing moves, so it's not that. And then let's try taking this out, noting that it's 0.7 was the original length. Yeah, so this is 1.2. Man, what a jerk. I don't see any other parts here. Let me just try again. Maybe I clicked the wrong button. Shift. Nope. Control. Yeah, maybe. Okay, I think I just clicked the wrong button. Anyways, so if you're not seeing a part that can, if there's a part deep inside that things are dependent on, that's going to make this way tougher. But you manually group all those parts together again, and then you can save this as a new custom component with the original name. So let's just do this real quick one more time, since I screwed that up pretty well. All right. Got my invisible square. Get yourself a, doesn't really matter what part you use for your new base part. Put that up a little bit. Do. Put this thingy right there. Okay. Control. Group. Ungroup. Control. Looks like I got it all. Yep, got it all. And then save as a group. Now I can call this 1-JJ. I'm using the number 1 for components as opposed to 0 for ship parts. I'm sorry, ships, because they're all in the same folder. So the naming arranges where your files are and what they look like, which is really important when you're downloading Steam ships, because they get thrown in there. I found most people are not naming their ships with a logical set system. So making sure mine is logical so you can separate them out from everybody else's is really, really useful if you really dive into that crap all the time. CMP for component. And then I'm going to say this is a array, I guess. What was this thing? Anyways, I hit done, and that's done. And that's all it takes. So actually, I'm going to cancel. Because that might be a weapon. Anyways, so yeah, that's what I've been up to, guys, with Galactic Civ. Thanks for watching, and I will probably post another video shortly. All right, thanks, guys. Bye.